Everyone, it is Donna Gray here, your Stamping Up demonstrator from the scenic rim in Queensland. Now, I'm going to apologize straight away because I had grand plans of being on here on Monday to actually bring you a live crafty session. And I woke up with the biggest migraine headache, and I have been struggling for the last 3 days. So I'm still not 100%, but I couldn't go another day without having a crafty session with you. So when you get the notification, please jump on, say hello, let me know where you're watching from. And as I said, I do apologize for being missing in action. I had a wonderful 3 days of a virtual album retreat, which was fantastic. I got to scrapbook for 3 whole days, and it was superb. I can tell you the layouts are amazing. And there's one of the layouts that I actually want to make it into a card by the actual feature element of it. I want to do it as a card. So that will be coming when I'm feeling more on top of it. So I do apologize. I have been very under the weather, and I haven't had a headache, a migraine like this for a long, long time. So of course, when you get things like that, you just have to give in and just relax and try and make it go away. So I thought I was on top of it, and I woke up this morning and it was full blown again. So it's one of those things that you just have to take the day's rest to get rid of it. So hopefully I'll be feeling, so I'm not firing on all cylinders. So I do apologize ahead of time. I'm not probably my normal cheerful jovial self, but anyway, I'll try to give you a fun crafty video for you to enjoy anyway. All right, so I wanted to I want to tell you there is one big thing. While everyone's jumping on, there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about. One thing is definitely my paper share, my two-tone paper share. So if you're interested, this you get all 54, it says 53 pieces here, but there's actually 54 pieces of every color that is in our color range. And it's a sampling. So you get a 6x6, it costs $50. You get a 6x6 piece of every single color that we have in our two-tone cardstock, or you can get a double share, and I've reduced the price by $5 per share if you wanted to get a double share for $90. Now that has arrived on my doorstep, and when I'm feeling a little bit better, I will be preparing that and hopefully getting that out towards the end of next week. So it's a great way of I'm going to showcase some of the two-tone cardstock again here today, because it is actually a really awesome product that I think so many of you are missing out on, because you're thinking it's 12 by 12, it's scrapbooking, and honestly, it is. We are paper crafters. It's what we do with our paper craft. And what we do with our products is what we end up with in the end. But I am loving the two-tone paper, so I wanted to show you a fun card today, and I wanted to do a little bit of a change up, a little bit of like Christmas in July. So type it into the comments. Do you celebrate Christmas in July? So for us here in Australia, some people celebrate Christmas in July. I don't know whether it's a big thing in America, so please chime in and let me know. And if you're watching the replay, type it in the comments and let us know, do you actually celebrate Christmas in July? So some people like to do Christmas in July instead of having the big hoo-ha at Christmas time in December like we normally do. So so type it in the comments and let me know. So as I said, that is a VIP paper share. So so I've still got some available. If anyone is interested, you can scan the QR code there on the screen, or there is actually the link in the description. Did I catch a cold? No, it's not actually a cold. It's just me with my migraine headache, Lynn. So it's I'm just not firing on all 4 cylinders. So anyway, or 6 cylinders. How many is it that we have? I don't know. Anyway. So Sue says not really. Lynn says usually lunch. Kinda. No tree up though. So Leslie celebrates Christmas in July, but she has no tree up. So I don't know. Sometimes it's a big thing for some people. Some people, depending on where their family lives, sometimes it's easier. You don't have the hype of the Christmas and the high prices and things of accommodation if you wanted to go away on a holiday somewhere. So sometimes people do celebrate Christmas in July. So I wanted to show you a project today that I wanted to show you what we can do with a brand new product, and this brand new product is available now. It's called Bauble Blooms, and you might want to get a head start on your Christmas crafting, so you never know. Let me get rid of that QR code there. The other thing I wanted to tell everybody, now that quite a few people have jumped on, we have an exciting promotion happening at the moment. Free shipping, 23rd. Look at me, free shipping, everyone. 23rd to the 25th of July. So that's happening right now. So if there's some orders, you have to order $65 or more to be able to qualify for the free shipping. But a great time that if you've got a couple of things that you wanted to pick up, and you were saving it up thinking, no, I'll wait until I've got a bigger order. If your order is going to be over $65 or more, you will get free shipping. And for anyone that orders during the free shipping for the 23rd to the 25th of July, I'm going to do a super awesome special for you that you will get to receive 5 of my handmade cards. I'm going to send you 5 of my handmade cards if you order $150 or more during the free shipping period. So for anyone that wants to place an order to enjoy that free shipping, then I'm going to send you out 5 of my handmade cards. Hey, Beck, lovely to see you. 5 of my handmade cards free of charge if you place an order with me during those 3 days. So you can find my shop link in the description down below, or you can even find my shop link. Let me see if I can do, I'll show you my shop link, which has last chance products. But the shop link is there anyway. So if you're interested in purchasing any products and getting 5 handmade cards, because I know everybody loves getting some of my handmade cards, please place your order. All right, let's get into this crafting. So I decided that I wanted to use, as I said, a Christmas set. And I also wanted to use double-sided, the two-tone cardstock. So of course, I've got my beautiful color. This is Bubble Bath. I think it's Bubble Bath. Let me double check. I keep thinking, is it Pretty in Pink or is it Bubble Bath? I'm nearly positive it's Bubble Bath. Bubble Bath, it is. Had to double check on the cardstock that I had. So, of course, our two-tone cardstock, we have a light side and a dark side, and it may be hard to see, but you can see there the two-tone in that cardstock. It has a white core. So if you tear it, you will get that white edge. If you emboss it and sand it, you will get the white. So I'm actually going to play around and do that. Now, this is the card that I'm actually going to copy, but I want to, oh, thank you. I actually was thinking, Christine, my hair was a little bit of a mess because I'm not feeling the best. And I didn't spend a lot of time on it. But anyway, it is what it is. So this is the card that I wanted to showcase, but I wanted to change it up and do it in a different color to show you that you don't have to stick with the typical Christmas colors, which is typically I don't stick with the Christmas colors, but I wanted to do a beautiful bubble bath version, and I wanted to change up the embossing and things as well. So let's get to creating this card. So first of all, I'm going to use basic white thick as my card base. So let me just grab a sheet of that. And we will cut our card base, and everything's banging and crashing here. So I'm going to cut a card base, my regular card base size. So we'll do that. And I'm going to cut my two-tone cardstock at the first layer. So if you are in our basic foundations of card making, you will be using the black layer, the black contrast layer, to cut this piece of cardstock. So if you are not a member of our basic foundations of card making and you have been struggling with your card making, maybe think about joining us for next month, because we have a super fun, awesome time in our group. Now, the next thing what I want to do is I'm going to take some of that two-tone cardstock, because I'm also going to stamp and emboss on this two-tone cardstock. So I could use the light side or I could use the dark side. I'm going to use the dark side for both. So I'm going to take out the stamp. Now this stamp is a little bit different. I'm actually going to emboss with two different embossing powders here, and I'm going to show you how fun this can be. Now, I remember, I don't know whether it's going to be the in trend, but I think the trend last year was gold and silver mixed together. So I thought, what a perfect way of doing this. Let's mix the gold and silver on this stamped image. So first of all, because it is a photopolymer stamp set, I'm going to use my pierce mat underneath my piece of cardstock. I'm also going to use my embossing buddy, because the embossing buddy is fantastic for making sure that you have no oily marks on your cardstock, and making sure that we aren't going to have embossing powder stick to something that we don't want it to stick to. Now, feel free to share this video with your friends on Facebook. You can, if you're on YouTube, you can actually use the share button down below, and let's get more people hanging out and crafting with us. Okay, so I've done my embossing buddy, so that's going to stop any embossing powder from sticking to anywhere where I don't want it to stick to. I'm using Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky ink, and that's actually going to adhere our embossing powder. That's what our embossing powder is going to stick to. So I'm also going to bring in my embossing additions tray, and of course my little brush and my tweezers that goes with it, and my gold and my silver embossing powder. Okay, so we're all ready to go. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up this one in the Versamark, and that's the larger outside piece, and then I'm going to emboss that, and then I will ink up the inside piece and emboss it in a different color. Okay, so we're going to stamp down here. I'm going to use the dies. I'll tell you a story. Just before I jumped on here, I had planned that I was going to use this bundle, and for the life of me, I couldn't find the dies for this bundle. And I was like, I can't do a video and say I'm going to use this bundle if I don't have the dies. I'm like, I can't fussy cut that bauble. So I'm definitely, I don't mind fussy cutting, but I don't think I'm that keen on it to try and fussy cut the bauble out. So I was super excited when I actually did find them. All right, so we have used our Versamark ink. So use the embossing buddy first, use the Versamark ink, and as you can see, now it's perfectly just on where we have inked that up. All right, so I'm going to pop that aside. I'm going to bring in my heat tool. Now, always remember to put your lid on your embossing powder, and also put your lid on your Versamark, because you don't want embossing powder going everywhere where you don't want it to be, or getting into your Versamark ink pad. All right, so I've got my heat tool. We have two heat settings on our heat tool, 1 and 2. We're going to use number 2. I'm going to let that warm up for a little bit before I start. Now, the way that I emboss, the way that I heat my embossing is from underneath. Personal preference, and it's just how I like to do it. Because as you can see, as soon as you put heat, this cardstock will curl. So I like it to curl down and under, not curling up. So there we go. Now, you can never, ever get sick of that beautiful wow factor of heat embossing. Now, the key to heat embossing is making sure that you just let it turn and you don't overheat it. If you overheat it too much, you will find that your embossing will go really dull. So you can see how that's really nice and smooth and shiny. If you're finding that it's going really matte, that it goes nice and shiny, and then all of a sudden the shine starts to dull, you've overheated your embossing. So you don't want to overheat it too much. All right. So thank you everyone for jumping on. I can see there's quite a few of you. I've missed you all, I can tell you. And I had grand plans of being on Monday and enjoying some crafty time. But of course, that headache definitely put a spanner in the works. All right, so I'm now going to, this is the Embossing Buddy. The Embossing Additions Toolkit is so awesome because now I can pop that back into my tray, into my jar without spilling a single bit. And then you can use your brush too to brush out any bits that may be sticking to your tray. And then we can pop the lid on and all is good, and we haven't wasted any of that embossing powder. All right, so I'm now going to use my Embossing Buddy once again because I have just embossed on there and I want to make sure that nothing is going to stick to anything that shouldn't. And now I'm going to clean that stamp off, and I'm going to get the inside stamp, and we're going to stamp that in, well, we're going to heat emboss in silver. So let's pop that one away. This was a real hit in my card buffet. We actually used this bundle and everybody absolutely loved the effect of this bauble. It was so stinking cute. That's all I can say. All right, so let's pop that on there. And now we are going to ink up again with our Versamark ink. And we're going to do the inside part, but we're actually going to emboss with silver. So we're going to have that trendy look. I wonder whether silver and gold is going to be the trend again, because I know everyone was decorating their trees with silver and gold last year. All right, so now we've got to work out which way this goes, and it goes like that. So I'm going to, sorry, my head's probably going to stick in the way, but I'm going to line that up there. And that looks pretty good. And it doesn't really matter because it doesn't matter if we don't line it up perfect. It's going to be two different colors, so it doesn't really matter. So I've inked that up with Versamark ink. And then I'm going to bring back in my tray again, and we are going to sprinkle over with silver. And I didn't quite get that. Oh, no, I didn't quite get it right over there. Now, if you've got anything that shouldn't be on there, so if there's any bits of embossing powder that you think shouldn't be there, that's what that brush is used for. So let's pop that aside, and we'll bring in the heat tool again, and we will heat that one with our silver. So once again, heat level number 2. I probably haven't lined it up real well, but you know what? It's going to do. And look at that. How awesome is that? Silver and gold together. Beautiful. There we go. Look at that gorgeous bauble we've got. Don't you just love heat embossing? Type it in the comments and give me a yes if you love heat embossing. Okay, so we're going to tip that back in there so we don't waste our silver. And our wow embossing powders, they definitely have the wow factor. Like, honestly, I know I have some old embossing powder here and I really want to use it up, but the wow embossing powder just has so much brighter silver and gold. So I'm a bit slack. Like, I keep reaching for the new stuff instead of using up my old stuff. All right. So we've got that bauble all sorted, and we're going to cut it out with our die that matches. The other thing that I want to do is on this, I'm actually going to stamp the little, before I put all my embossing away, I'm going to stamp the little top, and we're going to heat emboss that in gold. So let me grab that. We will once again do our embossing buddy. I might just do it down here on the corner so I don't waste any of that. Bring back in my pierce mat. Looks very fancy. I know, Sue. It does, doesn't it? All right, we're going to ink that. Now, this is the little top that goes on your bauble that holds the string on. So we'll do that. We'll grab our gold again and heat that one. Okay, that. You love embossing, Lynn? I think it looks good, the silver and the gold together. I think it's really, I hope that trend is back in. You love gold and silver together, Daryl? Yeah. I hope it comes back in for Christmas. I might put a Christmas tree up this year. You never know. Oh, and I have some news. I forgot to tell you. I have some news for you all. All right. It's been a while since I've been on, but I have some news for you all. I'll pop the camera back up. I have a big surprise, and I'm super excited about it. And it's kept me a little bit busy. My youngest daughter is coming to live with me. She got herself a job at the Toyota dealership here in Beaudesert. So she's going to work in town and she's going to come and live with me, and we are going to be able to hang out together. And we are super excited that she is making the move and coming up and going to live here in Beaudesert. So how's that for a surprise? So that's all unfolded in the last 2 weeks. So it's been an exciting time. And now the drama is getting everything sorted and getting her shifted up here. So it's a big move for her. It's the first time that she's lived away from her hometown. So it will be a big change for her. But that's my exciting news. So I am super excited, and it'll be so nice to actually have someone come and live with me. So I know it's exciting, Matthew, very exciting. Anyway, let's get back to this card. Sorry, I get on a bit of a tangent, but anyway. All right, so we're going to do that. Now, I also want to emboss this piece of beautiful two-tone cardstock with the plaid embossing folder. So I wanted to do it the same as what this one is. So I'm going to add that into that embossing folder. And this one is a, I think it's a 3D one. So we will run that through our cut and emboss, and we'll also cut out our bauble at the same time. So let's bring that in. It feels like a 3D one. I'm sure it is. All right, so we're going to do that. We are going to grab our grey plate. Now, when you purchase our cut and emboss machine, it actually comes with this grey plate. Now, if you don't have the grey plate, if you have, say, a big shot machine and you don't have the grey plate, you can actually purchase the grey plate, and it will actually go with your machine. All right, so we've got that gorgeous plaid, and I've done it a little bit off angle, but that's okay. That's going to all add to the charm. So we've got that. We then need to swap those plates out, and we need to pop our thin die adapter on. So now we're actually going to do some die cutting. We're going to pop this bauble on here. Isn't this the cutest little die packet that you've ever seen? I love these little tiny die packets. So we have the bauble die in here, which is this one. So we're going to cut the bauble out with that. And I just was thinking, oh, I hope I've left enough room. Then we're going to cut the little tiny top piece with this one here. Now, I probably should use some washi tape for this, but do you think I have washi tape here close to me? Do I or do I not? I don't. Oh, I do. I have some glittery washi tape. Here we go. Some Halloween washi tape. All right, so let's add a little bit of washi tape on here so that we, if I can find the end of the washi tape. Oh, my Lord. You would think it would be easy to find, wouldn't you? Is that it there? Oh. And I was going to say, in this light. There we go. I think I found it. There we go. There's the end. All right, so let's use a little bit of washi tape. Let's make sure we don't lose the end so we can get it for the next time. All right. I don't normally use washi tape, but because this is such a little piece, I really need to make sure that doesn't move. So I'm going to put a bit of washi tape on there. And then I think also with our bauble, to make sure that doesn't move, we can pop that in place as well. All right. So let's get the bauble up the right way. Could help. And I'm working under strange circumstances here because I have my cut and emboss sideways, which I don't normally do it like that. So I'm going to pop one bit up the top there, and I'm going to pop another bit down the bottom here that will hopefully hold that bauble in place for me. All right, let's grab our cutting plate and we will run that through. So that will cut out our gorgeous bauble for the top. How cute is that? Look at that little embossed piece. Look how dirty my hands are from crafting. All right, that, and we'll have that, and we will hopefully get that out without the washi tape tearing it. Yes, we have. Look at that bauble. How gorgeous is that? Okay, let's pop these dies back in the packet so we don't lose them. Okay, into that cute little packet. I'm just going to pop them in there like that. All right, we'll move that out of the way. Now, with our piece that we have used the embossing folder on, I'm just going to grab an emery board, and I'm hoping I have one close at hand, which I'm just going to go and grab one from out here. Now, some people may use a sanding block. I'm just going to use a typical emery board that you would use for doing your nails. So luckily I have some of these free nearby. So I'm going to, now when we have embossed, we have the embossed side that is the raised area that's up. And then if we turn it over, we've got the debossed side. So I actually want to sand the embossed side. So I want to sand those bits that are sticking up from there. So I'm just going to take this, and because we have white in our card, you can see here, you just sand lightly and it's going to bring out those white. And it's always good to do it on like a flat surface. So on your desk, have it down flat. And you're just going to lightly sand those ridges that are popping up. So this is the beauty of our two-toned cardstock, that you're able to do just that. And look how gorgeous that looks. So it gives a really nice, good textured look in behind your card. And I could probably do a little bit more just there. But it gives that real nice rustic type of look. So that's what I was going for. Hey, Cynthia. I know it'll be so exciting to have my daughter nearby. It will be absolutely wonderful. We get on so well, and so it'll be actually lovely to be able to live with each other again. All right. It's been 3 years since we've lived with each other. So 3 years is a long time to be apart. And she'll be closer to a sister too. So that's more or less just being closer to us, all of us, which will be really nice. All right, so because this is an embossed piece, I like to really glue it down quite well. So use a fair bit of liquid glue. You can't wait for the, yeah, so Colleen, I will be preparing those next week. I've just received the order and I will be getting to those early next week. So they'll probably be getting in the post by the end of the week next week. So that's on my to-do list. All right, so we are going to adhere that down, straight down onto the front of our basic white card base. So I want to pop a block on that just to keep it glued down until it takes hold. So I always like to sit a big block on that. Now, while we're doing that, I'm actually going to grab a piece of basic white cardstock, and we're going to emboss the words Merry Christmas on some white cardstock. So I'm going to bring in my piece mat again. I'm also going to bring in my embossing buddy again, and I'm going to use the embossing buddy on that white. Bring in our Versamark. Let's grab the words Merry Christmas. That one and that one. I really need to wash these stamps. So another thing, when you have your stamps, because they're not real sticky, they're because they've been used a fair bit because I use them in my card buffet. So what I tend to do is I like to wash my stamps just under clear water. Make sure you don't wash them down the drain, but wash them under clear water and they come back sticky again. So these ones are a little bit not sticking real well. All right, so can you see how I've just picked up those two stamps in a row? If I wanted to stamp it that it looked like Merry Christmas all on the one strip, I could stamp it down here and it could be all on the one strip. I might do that. On my card front, we actually had it in two pieces here, but I might do this one that we do it all the way across. Let's try that. All right, so of course I'm going to ink up with my Versamark ink. I'm then going to stamp down, and I'm going to stamp down nice and low on here so that I can then trim off the excess cardstock that I don't need. So I've got that there stamped. Let's bring back in our tray and our gold, and we will pop some gold on there. So, okay, so when it comes to your Christmas crafting, type it into the comments. Who likes to heat emboss when it comes to their Christmas crafting? Do you typically heat emboss on your Christmas cards, or do you normally just use colored ink? Does everyone know my little crafting hack for if you don't feel like heat embossing? How you can ink up with a certain colored ink to look like colors? Type it into the comments and let me know if you know the colors that I use for silver or gold. I'm sure many of you that have followed me for years will know. You love the non-traditional colors for Christmas cards? Yeah. I don't know, Len. I'm just not this red and green person. Well, you all know how I feel about garden green. So I'm definitely not a red and green person. Loretta says she normally heat embosses at Christmas. Yep. The best way to get a white sentiment on black is heat embossing with white on black. It is the best way to get your sentiment to stand out on black. Look at that. Isn't that just superb? It is the best way to have that. I always think it makes your cards look quite classy. I think so. Does it involve clear embossing? Yes. Yes, you can. Oh, sorry. Doesn't it? No, it doesn't. No. So Matthew, it's if I decided that I didn't want to do heat embossing at all, but I wanted it to look like silver or gold. So type it in the comments and let me know what you think my crafting hack is if you didn't feel like going through all the drama of doing heat embossing. All right, I'm going to bring in my handy dandy little trimmer. And I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to cut off the end so I can get it straight for a start and it's not too long. So I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to cut the ends at an angle anyway. And then I'm going to pop it in here. And please don't do this at home because I have no guard on my little trimmer because I like to be able to get right in there and know exactly where I'm going to cut it. So I've cut that and we've got a perfect little strip. You don't know the tip. So I'm still waiting to see if anyone knows my crafting hack for if you decided that you didn't want to heat emboss. What would you typically do to get gold and silver? So as you can see, we've got a gorgeous bauble. Now I'm going to use my favorite ribbon, beige for gold and gray for silver. Crumb cake for gold. There, Kay's got it. Crumb cake for gold, gray for silver. What gray though? Which one is the gray? What's the gray that I use? Hey, Jeanette, lovely for you to join. What is the gray that I use? So crumb cake is right for gold. That is what I actually use. And I might use that here on the inside so you can see what it looks like. And it does double up quite easily for using gold. All right, I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back here and pop this one up. So I typically want to pop it up, and I want to pop this little, I think I'm going to glue that on first. So what I would do is use do I have a silicone mat here close? Yes, I do. I'm going to use a silicone mat, and you can see I've got glue all over my silicone mat, but that's okay. I'm going to use my silicone mat so I can add that bauble. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on the bottom there and then pop my bauble on there. And the only reason I'm using the silicone mat is just so I don't get glue everywhere. So let's pick that up and let's put that onto our bauble. So I just want it to sit just on the top of that bauble. So with the silicone mat, if any glue oozes out from behind, because I'm just putting it on the edge, so if any glue oozes out from behind, I'm going to be able to lift that off my silicone mat and use it, and I'm not going to have it all over my craft desk. So that's one tip that I absolutely love doing when you're playing around with a little bit of glue. Now, I feel like I want to do a zigzag of ribbon in behind. Like I feel like I want to do like this type of thing in behind, like that. Well, that's my plan. And then pop my bauble up on top. I am going to do that. All right. So how I would typically do that is I can either stick the zigzag ribbon to the bauble, which I'm going to do that because if I try to use Seal Plus on this, it will tear my my embossed layer because it's been weakened with that running it through the embossing machine. So I'm going to add some glue onto the back of my bauble, and then I'm going to do my zigzag in behind first, and then I will add my dimensionals on after that. All right. So I typically like to look at it from the front view so I can see where it's going to go. So I'm going to do that. I'm then going to do a little bit. No, I need it up there a little bit more. So I'm going to do that. I'm then going to do that. I'm then going to add another bit and go like that. And we're going to have that it's going to then sit on there. So we're going to have that gorgeous zigzag of ribbon in behind. I want it, actually, you know what? I'm going to do it like a bow. And the beauty of having Seal Plus is that you're able to, so I'm going to do it like that. Let's start again. We'll go with a string coming down through there. We're going to do a loop coming up there. We're going to do another loop coming down through here like a bow. And then our ties coming down through there. So it looks like a big bow in underneath. That looks better. What do you think? All right. So, hey, Lorraine. Hey, Suzanne. Lovely to see you both. All right. So I'm just going to snip that a little bit so I get the angle of the ribbon going the way I want it to go, like so. And now I will pop that up on dimensionals, and we can pop it on the front. This is a super easy card. Like, honestly, the bundle does everything that you need to do on this card. So you It's not a hard card to create. And I think just trying out those different colors as well just takes it to a different level as well. So I do tend to like, as Lynn said, I'm not the typical Christmas colors. I like to think outside the box and have it a little bit different. Let me know in the comments, are you into traditional green and red for Christmas, or do you like thinking outside the box and having something a little bit different? Great trick to get your dimensionals, all the backings all in one spot. All right, so I'm going to add that onto the front of my card now. So we'll just center that in the middle, and we've got that gorgeous gold bow in behind. I love, love, love this ribbon. Like, honestly, it is one of my favorites. Now, do I want to put the sentiment straight, or do I want to go at an angle? Type it in the comments, straight or angle. Blue and silver is your favorite. Is it Night of Navy and Silver, Merlene, or is it a light blue? Lorraine, are you not well? Yes, Christine, Denny, the one that did the marathon. So, yeah, she's even already started asking for people in the area whether they're into running, to try and meet some people and get into a running group here. Okay, Leslie's saying straight. Sue's saying angle. So we got 2 angle, we got 2 straight. Let's see. First one to 5. Any blue for Christmas? Yeah. So we've got 2 at an angle and 2 straight. We've got 3 at an angle and 2 straight. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4 at an angle, 5 at an angle. Angle got it. Sorry, Leslie, you were outvoted. All right, so I'm just we're going to do it at an angle because that's what we voted on. So I'm just going to take one of the edging strips off my dimensionals. I like to do this when I've got a thin, narrow sentiment because it just goes on the back quite easy. And I think I might angle the ends just like that and like that. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So we've got that, and that's looking very, very pretty. All right. Now, what I've started to do, you all know me, I like to put a layer on the inside of my cards, but now that prices of cardstock has gone up and things, I've decided that if I'm doing a white card, I'm actually just going to stamp directly straight on the inside of the card. Now, if you mess up, yes, you can actually stamp again with on a white layer and stick it in and cover it up. But I'm actually just going to use, so we've got Merry Christmas on the front, and I'm going to stamp Joyous Wishes to you and yours on the inside. And I'm going to do that hack that I just said about the crumb cake. Do I have crumb cake here? I think I do. I had it on my desk. There it is. I'm going to use crumb cake as the inside stamping, because also too, I don't want to emboss my card base, because embossing will actually make the cardstock warp, and I don't want the card base to look like that. Oh, I went straight and it was supposed to be an angle. Okay, hang on. Told you my head wasn't thinking straight, didn't I? Let's see if I can lift that up. I can. Look at that. Lucky that it's been embossed. There we go. We're going at an angle. Sorry about that, people. I just got so carried away, and I'm so used to doing things straight that I just did it straight. All right, so I'm going to use the crumb cake, and as you can see, the color of crumb cake, it looks like it's gold on the inside anyway. Okay. Sue said, not sure why she asked, because she did it her way anyway. Well, I changed it up. Now it's on an angle. Yep, now it's on an angle, Loretta. Exactly. You know, sometimes you just get carried away, and I looked up at the comments and I totally forgot why, what I was doing, and I ended up putting it straight anyway. All right, now I've got some rhinestones here. Now, because we've used the silver embossing, we can then use our rhinestones, which will match quite well, and that will bring some of the silver in again. So I'm just going to add some of these gorgeous rhinestones around. So I'm going to add some in the middle of the flowers that we have, and there's one there. And then I'm just going to randomly place some around. So I like to do things in odd numbers. So we've got 4, and we'll pop 1 just down here. And there you go. There is a gorgeous card. So we've got the bubble bath using the two-tone cardstock, and there is the same thing in Misty Moonlight. So there you go. 2 totally different looking cards using some different colors, same layout. I know, it's just a habit that you get into. I know. So there you go. There is a different spin on the card that I did here in the Misty Moonlight and just the silver. And then we've done the silver and gold. I think I like, which ones do you like the best? The Misty Moonlight or the Bubble Bath? Type it in the comments and let me know. Which one do you like the best out of the 2 cards? You love your rhinestones. They're your favorites. Yep. Thanks, Lorraine. You love the colors. I would typically do this in Pool Party as well. I mean, Pool Party and Bubble Bath, well, or Pretty in Pink, are the 2 colors that I would possibly go for Christmas coloring. I like that nice softness. So Merline's voting for the pink. Linda voted for the pink. Loretta's voted for the pink. Oh, the pink is outdone the Misty Moonlight. Oh, Cynthia's up for the Misty, and Daryl said both of them are gorgeous. Lorraine says she likes both, but the Bubble Bath in this case, yeah. So each to their own, but for a nice feminine female card, for a more male themed card, you'd probably go for the Misty Moonlight. So so there you go. So thank you very much for everyone being very patient with me. And as I said, I had great grand plans of being on here on Monday, and Monday was totally a wipeout. My Tuesday was a wipeout as well. And I thought this morning that I would get up and I would feel a bit better. And this morning was a little bit of a wipeout too. So I finally got myself together to be able to come live this afternoon. And I do thank you all for being patient, but that is why I was missing in action. And I honestly didn't even have the energy to even put it out there. Well, I don't think I did. Maybe I did, that I had a migraine. I physically was going to go live, but anyway, it is what it is. I'm here and I've done a live video, so I'm busy again tomorrow. I'm heading down to the shopping center tomorrow with all of my sublimation and my craft supplies and things. So if anyone's local to Beaudesert, I will be hanging out at Beaudesert Fair tomorrow with my stall down there. So come in if you wanted to grab some handmade cards. I'm going to take quite a lot of my handmade cards and things down there. I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to do a video the next time. I mean, maybe I might jump on Friday if I'm feeling better, but we will see. If not, I will see you next week. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me, and have a lovely time crafting. Have a lovely night. It's miserable weather here. It's storming. It's raining. It's absolutely miserable. So a nice night to get in the long jammies and curl up in the recliner chair with a blanket over with a cup of coffee. Who's with me on that? I think Theo will be with me on that. I'm sure of that. Thanks, everyone.